Hello my lovely viewer, I am back once again with episode 6 of the American science fiction horror series, titled Stranger Thing. Watch the full video to find out the interesting part and please take care. As a disclaimer, this video includes my own analysis, commentary, and it's not a substitute of the full movie. Click the link below to watch, buy or rent the movie. In the beginning of this episode, Jonathan is still searching for Nancy. On the other hand, Nancy is also searching for Jonathan on the replica or mirror of the Real. Though they cannot see each other, but interestingly, they can hear the voice. Shortly, Jonathan notices the monster's hole in the trees. Nancy hides behind the trees. While hiding, she hears Jonathan's voice calling her, and sees a flashlight on the same trees. Nancy pushes her hand into the real world from the mirror world and Jonathan pulls her out. She is so lucky that Jonathan stays there to help her without being scared. She hugs him. In the next scene, we see Steve and his gangs are out in search of Nancy. Steve seems to be fallen in love with Nancy, his friends tease him for this. Steve sees Nancy and Jonathan in Nancy's room. This pissed him off. Nothing is going on between Jonathan and Nancy, but Steve doesn't know all this. He believes what he sees. It will be interesting to watch how the thing will work out between Nancy and Steve. Hopper is still at the Joyce house explaining what he has seen at the Hawkins lab. Joyce asks him to go over the detail once again so that she might get an important clue. He tells her about the kid's room, painting on the wall which says 11 on it. Hopper finds some evidence of a woman called Terry Ives, who claims that she lost her daughter Jane. Is 11's real name Jane? He also adds that she has sued Brenner and the government but finds nothing. Hopper assumes that what if he had been chasing Will, but has been chasing another kid. Early in the morning, Nancy explains to Jonathan about the predator as she has been doing some research on it. She finds out that the monster hunts alone like the bear and can smell the blood like the shark. She also adds that Barbara had cut her hand at Steve's house party and the monster might have smelled her blood and trapped her in his mirror. They plan to give it again the next try, but this time with the proper plan. After that, they go to buy the necessary equipment. Nancy hears the boys in the nearby alley. She runs towards them and finds that the boys are painting about Nancy, saying, "Nancy the slut, blah blah." Jonathan also arrives there, but Steve provokes him with a nasty comment about his father and mother. Fight breaks out between them. In the meantime, the police arrive there. Steve runs away as the police show up. I was so satisfied to watch Steve gets beaten by Jonathan. Jonathan is arrested. Meanwhile, Hopper and Joyce pay a visit to Terry Ives, the probable mother who claimed Hawkins' lab kidnapped her daughter. They show photographs of Will's and question her about the lab. Sadly, due to the trauma of her daughter's loss, she has been out of touch with reality for about 5 years. However, the sister, Becky, gives them some information. It is claimed by the authorities that Terry miscarried her baby in the 3rd trimester about 12 years ago. The baby is born premature, but all the official documents and the authorities confirm that the baby died. But Terry always believes that the baby girl Jane is alive and has some special power like telekinesis and telepathy. Terry believed that all the authorities forged the document and stole her baby from her. Moreover, Becky informs Hopper and Joyce about the experiment that Terry took part in. Let's get back with the boys. Mike and Dustin talks about their group rules. Dustin asks Mike to go to Lucas and sort the things out and finds 11. Meanwhile, 11 spends her night in the wood. She is filthy, hungry, and alone in the middle of the jungle. As she is hungry, so heads toward the grocery store. Inside the grocery store, everyone stares at her as she walks and wonders if they should call the cops. She doesn't feel afraid and walks into the refrigerator and grabs the food packet and leaves there without paying for it. Mike and Dustin make it to the Lucas house and ask to forget all things and shake hands once again. But Lucas is done with 11 and refuses to shake hands unless they are done with her. Lucas has taken it seriously. They begin screaming at each other that they will simply do everything individually. Dustin tries to make them understand that splitting up is a bad idea, which only weakens their search for the will. Lucas never wants to see 11 anymore and decides to go his way to the gate of Upside Down while Mike and Dustin stick to their original plan. After that, Lucas set himself with gear and goes in the search of Will. He sets the compass on the handlebar of the bike and leaves his house. He sees a guard and a van from the Hawkins lab across the street. He leaves from there and follows the compass. The compass takes him to the Hawkins laboratory compound. He climbs up the tree and uses his binoculars to see inside the compound. He notices suspicious-looking men going inside the building and the same look-alike vans which he had found right outside his house. In the meantime, Dustin and Mike also are on the move. They pass by the grocery store and no 11 was there. They now know that 11 is nearby, and head towards the woods. But to their bad lucks, Troy and Reed show up from nowhere and chase them. The boy runs, but shortly Troy catches Dustin and takes out a knife and places it on Dustin's throat. Troy asks Mike how he freezes him back at the Wills Memorial Assembly, and asks Mike to jump off the cliff into the water, otherwise he will cut Dustin's throat. To save his buddy, he jumps from the cliff but is frozen by 11's power. She tends to be watching all the bullies' activities and save Mike. She then approaches the bullies and breaks Troy's arm. After that, she faints and runs into another flashback. She this time meet the monster and touched it. She panicked and destroyed the lab. As the lab gets broken, from the broken part, the gate of Upside Down gets open, and the monster manages to come out and creates a mirror. Shortly, she gains consciousness and apologizes to Mike for opening the gate of Upside Down. Though she is not responsible for it. She blames herself, saying that she is a monster. The boys console her, saying that it is not her fault, and the group hugs each other. Now the sense of belongingness is seen developed in Mike and Dustin with 11, which will create a strong bond between them. The boys and 11 go home. The lab's van informs Brenner about them. The lab guards with the weapons head towards Mike's house. Lucas is watching the van movement from his binoculars and quickly realizes where the vans are heading. The episode ends here. Until then, subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like and comment to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.